Welcome to Dark Horror. Tonight, I invite you to leave the chaos of the world above behind. Close your eyes, take a slow, deep breath, and let the darkness settle around you. But before we descend, pause for a moment. Look around you. Where are you listening from right now? Are you curled up in bed in the US, city lights flickering beyond your window? Maybe you're in the Philippines, the monsoon rain tapping on your rooftop, or in South Africa, the Southern Cross shining above. Perhaps you're in Canada, snow falling silently outside, or in a small town somewhere no one else knows. Drop it in the comments. Where are you watching from and what time is it for you? Imagine, right now, hundreds of us scattered across the globe, united in this moment. Strangers, yet bound by curiosity, by a hunger for the unknown, by the thrill of a chill before sleep. Maybe you're listening at 2 a.m., when the world is silent and the shadows creep. Maybe it's just after midnight and you can't sleep, so you search for a story to carry you into dreams or nightmares. Wherever you are, whatever time it is, you are not alone. You're part of a secret gathering, a community of night dwellers and dreamers. Let's see how far this darkness can reach. Let's build a map of midnight listeners, people who understand that sometimes the scariest stories are best shared together. So settle in, dim your lights. Tonight, we descend beneath Paris, down a spiral staircase echoing through centuries, into a city of bones, a maze of shadows, where 6 million souls rest in eternal silence. Welcome to the Empire of the Dead, the Paris Catacombs. To understand the catacombs, we travel back to 18th century Paris, a city alive with revolution, art, and ambition. But beneath the surface, something sinister festered. Picture Paris in 1786, cobblestone streets teeming with merchants, the aroma of fresh bread mixing with something far less pleasant. The city's cemeteries, like the infamous Cemetery of the Innocents, overflowed with the dead. 2 million bodies stacked 30 feet deep. When it rained, water seeped through graves, carrying disease and the stench of decay into the city's wells. Children fell ill from drinking contaminated water. The living could not escape the presence of the dead. The city's leaders made a grim decision: move the bones of Paris into the ancient limestone quarries beneath their feet, quarries carved out by Roman slaves centuries before. Imagine the first night of the Great Transfer, priests blessing cartloads of bones by candlelight, workers with torches descending into the darkness, shovels scraping against centuries-old remains. Night after night, for months, they worked in profound silence. Femurs, ribs, skulls, all carefully transported and lowered into the earth. Workers described an overwhelming sense of being watched by invisible eyes, the echo of their footsteps multiplying in the darkness. One worker, Jean-Baptiste Remy, wrote, "The bones speak to us in whispers. Each skull holds a story, each femur once carried dreams. We are not just moving the dead, we are relocating an entire city's history." As you settle into this story, drift with those first workers. Feel the cool, damp air, the flickering torchlight, and the profound silence that only exists deep beneath the earth. The work was dangerous. Cave-ins were common. Some workers were buried alive, their bodies joining the very bones they were meant to organize. Their names are carved into the walls, memorials to those who died creating this empire of the dead. But the catacombs weren't just a dumping ground. The workers, many former quarrymen, began to create art from death itself. Walls of skulls stacked in perfect rows, femurs forming intricate patterns, and ribcages arching overhead like Gothic cathedrals. In some chambers, crosses made entirely of bones, hearts constructed from hundreds of skulls, and barrel-shaped pillars stretched upward. The most famous is the Barrel of Bones, a circular wall where skulls peer out, their empty sockets following visitors. Each skull once held a life: a baker who rose before dawn, a mother who sang lullabies, a soldier who dreamed of home, and a poet who wrote love letters by candlelight. Now all rest together in eternal democracy, rich and poor, young and old, all equal in death. The workers carved inscriptions into the walls, messages that still greet visitors today. Stop. This is the empire of the dead. Remember that you too must die. What you are, we once were. What we are, you will become. But perhaps the most haunting inscription reads, "Happy is he who is always prepared for death and dies well." As you listen, let these words comfort rather than frighten you. Think of the millions who have found peace in these tunnels, their struggles ended, their pain forgotten. There's something soothing about this final rest, this ultimate equality. The arrangement wasn't random. The workers organized bones by cemetery of origin, creating neighborhoods of the dead. Skulls from the cemetery of Saint-Étienne de Grèce, femurs from Saint Laurent, ribs from the Innocents, all resting together but still marked by their past. The Paris Catacombs stretch for over 200 miles, a labyrinth so vast and complex that even experienced explorers can become lost forever. Only a small portion is open to the public, but the forbidden sections hold the most intriguing mysteries. Imagine walking through these tunnels. Your footsteps echo in chambers that haven't heard voices for decades. Your flashlight reveals passages branching in every direction. The limestone walls bear marks of centuries. Roman quarry marks, medieval graffiti, and modern tags from urban explorers, cataphiles. Cataphiles have mapped secret rooms, discovered hidden artwork, and found evidence of underground parties and gatherings. One famous cataphile, the Phantom, spent 30 years exploring, claiming to know passages connecting to sewers, the metro, even famous landmarks. But the catacombs have claimed victims. In 1793, Philibert Espert vanished without a trace. His body was found 11 years later, just feet from an exit. In 2017, 2 teenagers were lost for 3 days, surviving on puddle water and hope. They described hearing voices, seeing lights, and feeling a presence in the shadows. As your mind wanders these endless passages, feel the cool air, the hush,